welcome back to another video. Today we're playing the new Stanley Pararble Deluxe Edition, and we're loading in. Alright, I've actually never played this before, so it's the first time. Played the other game, I kind of liked it. Who choose to say, oh what the? No, it's not, no, I'll give you subtitles. English. How'd you play the Stanley Pararble? Yes. Please adjust the slider over the computer. Like that? What? Please enter the current time. Well, it's currently 4:20. Oh, I did it wrong. Oh, wait. 4:23. So I'm gonna just put a 420. It's funny. Accessibility settings can be accessed from the main menu. Okay. What's that loading screen on the bottom right? It's just water. Doesn't that make that? Oh, it does make that noise. When you like press like on your keyboard, it like makes a noise. Alright, what can we do? Field of view, maximum. What do you like specifically say about these? Let's get started. And this loading screen. The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
You know, that picture is kind of weird.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh, what? It's like when you get, I don't know. This feels kind of weird. Maybe it's because my FOB, but it feels like better.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
There's an ending.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
That's kind of odd. You can say there's a glitch. Not really a glitch, that's just part of the game. You can like get on this chair. Oh yeah, it says you can't jump and get your first achievement. That you can't jump. I already know though. Right. So and then you like get on. Wait, over here. And then you can like, oh.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map,
Yes.
Until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be?
Dude, look
Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in?
I
Okay,
go?
I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Oh. No.
Ah, then in that case we'll
No!
continue.
Wait, no,
But now,
no.
here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different?
Yes.
Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer?
I didn't mean
Perhaps
to
you
put
never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back
Oh, yep.
here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time.
Yeah,
What if the
kinda.
other option is even longer? How long will you spend in
just let
total
me go.
just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now,
Yeah, my
I've
luck
built up
sucks.
the other options so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game,
Yeah, can I
or
go?
just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Doesn't reset. Yeah, I think.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
I think that's like I'm pretty sure that's a secret achievement. What's your telephone? I don't remember this. New details? I really don't want to open every single door, so we're just gonna keep on walking. Proceeds to open it.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Should I? Sure. Oh, it actually closes, so I can't even change my decision. Wow.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Wait, what does it say? Does this coffee mug say? I hate Monday. Yeah, I hate Monday. Yeah, that's right.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Yes.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
What's that? It's not like a red thing. What is it? Oh, I'm not going down there. Oh, I guess door wide open. Oh, bathroom. Oh, what the? I got the feeling money's for stealing, but not yours, of course. So that's a lovely purse. I can barely read cursive. Soap. Pictures. Nothing really in here. Can't really sit on the toilet. Eat. Cheers. 2 phones, man. 2, not 1, 2. Oh. Anyways. Let's go in the elevator. Open. Let's go up.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I die. Right here. What's over here? Just a secret area. Let's go up. See. Alright, we're loading.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
I guess we're staying down here.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Let's go mind control. Let's go play Minecraft. There's your camera. Alright, let's go in the spotlight over here.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Wow.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Whoa. Let's look around first. This is just like a... What is this? Is it a computer? A box? What is it? I can barely read it. I hate Mondays.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
I mean, mine thing is over there, 427. Oh, I didn't even notice it. Defocus. Dude, it just repeats. No,
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
So I turn it up. Can you at least give me a light? They never give me a light. Like, can I at least see? Can I not be blind? I want to get eyes. And not some dramatic boss music.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
And no light. Can I get a light?
Was it over? He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Is that a parking spot or something? Can I jump?
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Okay. Can I go to the bathroom? I wonder if this has this game. Beat the game. Too easy. Finished in like 5 minutes. I don't know how long this video is. I guess that's part 1. If you guys want to see part 2, come back later and I'll post it. And you guys can see the new Stanley Pararble Deluxe Edition. And yeah. What does that time even say?